Last time, we said the layers are easy and the details are everything. Let's prove it with the first job a wall has to do, which is keep sound where it belongs. Picture a standard stick-framed wall. Wood studs standing in a row, a drywall screwed to each face. Simple, and acoustically not great, because sound is vibration, and vibration travels straight through anything solid that bridges the two faces. Screw the drywall hard to the studs, and you've built a direct path for noise to cross from one room into the next. So the trick to a quiet wall is to break that path. The first tool is the resilient channel, sometimes called a flexible metal channel. It's a thin metal strip with a soft, springy part to it, partly plastic that can absorb vibration instead of passing it along. Instead of screwing the drywall straight to the studs, you fix it to the channel, and the channel attaches to the studs through that soft connection. Now, the board and the stud aren't rigidly locked together. Sound hits the drywall, but the springy channel soaks up most of the vibration before it can reach the stud and ride through to the other side. Honestly, you've decoupled the two faces. The second tool is staggered studs. Instead of one row of studs touching both faces, you run two rows, one set near each face, and you offset them so they don't line up. Now, no single stud connects both sides of the wall. Knock on one face and the impact has nowhere solid to travel straight through. Weave insulation back and forth through that offset framing, and you damp it down even further. Now, you won't be asked to calculate any of this, right? You'll be handed a table, and the scale is reading it. So let's read one. The table rates wall types by something called the STC, the sound transmission class. It's a single number for how well an assembly blocks airborne sound, and higher is better. Each row gives you a plain description of the wall, a small drawing, the materials in it, and the calculated STC. Take a staggered stud wall. With one layer of drywall on each side, it might come in around 41. Leave one side single but double up the other, and it climbs to about 47. Two layers on each side, and you're up near 52. Now run those same three walls again, but this time with insulation in the cavity. And the numbers read about 50, then 53, then 55. Notice what that tells you. Adding mass and adding layers does raise the number, but not in even steps. It isn't linear. You can't just assume one more layer buys you a fixed jump. You read the actual value off the table. And that's exactly how the exam uses it. Now, say a question asks for the simplest wall that reaches a certain rating. You scan the table for the first buildup that gets you there. Then you let the question's conditions knock out rows. If it says wood studs, you cross off every metal stud wall. If it says no double stud construction, you cross off the staggered and double stud rows. Whatever's left, simplest first, is your answer. You're not computing anything, okay? So you're looking it up and eliminating. If you want to see these walls drawn properly, Francis Ching's Building Construction Illustrated lays them out clearly, and it's worth keeping beside you as you study. So sound comes down to breaking the path. Decouple the faces with a resilient channel, stagger the studs so nothing bridges straight through, add mass and insulation, and read the rating off the table instead of trying to derive it. Right. Next time, a job where the stakes jump from comfort to life safety, stopping fire, and sealing every spot where something punches through a fire separation.